Hi everyone, welcome back to Chop Builders. In this episode, we're going to be looking at a G Harmonic Minor Neoclassical pedal point lick. So again, I'll play the full example and then we'll just get right to it. So this example is going to take place on the 3rd, 4th and the 5th strings, and we're going to be using the G Harmonic Minor Scale, and there's going to be some kind of two-hand synchronization issues that I'm going to address a bit later in the video. But in the meantime, we'll just get right to it. So we're just going to start on the 15th fret of the 3rd string with our first finger, so like that. So we're going to go 15, 19, 17, 19 like that. So it's going to be this, like that. Like that. So that idea is going to happen twice. Like that. And then we're going to do a sort of a similar idea. We're going to do a couple of frets up. So it's going to be on the start on the 17th fret of that string. So it's going to be 17, 20, 19, 20. So it's going to be that idea twice as well. So in combination with the other one. Like that. So like that. Hopefully that makes sense. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go back, but this time we're going to go at the 14th fret. So it's going to be 14, 17, 15, and 17. So that idea is also going to be twice. And then we're going to go back to the first one and do that twice. So all the ideas combined so far. Like that. So if that makes sense. And then what we're going to go back. So it's going to be the 12. We're going to do 12, 15, 14, 15 like that. So it's going to look like this. And then we're going to go back to that idea on the 14th fret and do that twice as well. Like that. So again, combination with all the ideas we have so far. Hopefully that makes sense. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go to the 11th fret of that string. So it's going to be 11, 14, 12, 14 like that. So it's going to be... Again, those ideas are going to be twice. So I'll combine it with all what we have so far, and then we'll finish off the rest of the idea. So. Again, hopefully that makes sense. Then to finish this off, we're going to be going to the fourth string. So it's going to be the 10th fret of the 4th string. So it's going to be 10, 13, 12, 13 like that. So that idea in this case is only going to be one. So it's just going to be like that. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing on the string below, same frets as well, like that. So back to back, like that. And then to finish off, we're going to go 9, 12. 10, 12. So it's going to be... And that's the last pattern. And then finally the last note is the G, which is the root note there. So I'm going to do all the ideas from the beginning very, very slowly so we can see how it's all put together. So here it is. I'll do that once more. So that's the whole idea. That is the whole phrase. Hopefully you kind of found that sufficiently challenging. Again, like I said before, there's a couple of things that we have to address with like the synchronization between the two hands. So I'm in the final section. We're going to go over that. See you in a bit. In this final part, I thought it'd be good to talk about the challenges that the picking hand and the fretting hand face with this kind of lick. So might as well start with the picking hand. So what we've got here is obviously this is a very, in terms of its the rhythmic variation, it's very consistent. So for example, it's just literally a 16th note pattern. literally just goes literally 4 semiquavers to the beat. So like they'll line up perfectly with a click if you're doing this to a click. So it's really, that's all there is to it with your picking hand, is just to keep that consistent. As long as you can keep it in that kind of semiquaver fashion, that 16th note fashion, you shouldn't really have too many problems with it. So for example, if you can practice going like that if you want, or maybe you can practice going like that, to kind of like test how locked in your right hand might be. But it's really that's kind of it. As long as that kind of stays, as long as that stays rhythmically consistent, is kind of like a well-oiled machine, you shouldn't have too many problems with it. So that's basically that one. Now the challenges I think really that are more worth talking about, or the kind of that are a bit more pressing, are to do with the left hand or your fretting hand. So what we've got here, so if we just take this chunk of the exercise like that, what we've kind of got is this. It's very kind of what this requires is for your fingers to be kind of independent of one another. So they have to kind of operate with they're all operating together, but they have to operate with this kind of this sort of independence. So for example, to kind of go into more depth with it, you can. So if we start on the start here on the 12th fret. So our first finger is on the fretboard like that. I'm just going to move these away just so you can kind of so you can see what's going on. So if, for example, if I start here with the first finger like that, as I'm about to play the next note, which is going to be on the 15th fret, as I'm going to play that with my little finger, that first finger is coming up. So I'm going like that, and then when I'm going to the next note, like that, the little finger comes up, and then as the little finger goes down, the ring finger comes up. So this kind of coordination is kind of what's required in order to perform this at any kind of proficient speed. So there's only ever one finger on the fretboard down at a time, and that's key to being able to do this smoothly and fluently. So for example, it's not. So if I kind of play it a few times. You can see that there's kind of like there's only even one finger down on the fretboard at a time, and I'm not kind of doing what I've seen a few times. I've seen people do a few times. It is so try to perform the pattern, but for example, you only keep the first finger barred. So rather than being this, ends up kind of looking like this, which I guess you can get comfortable and up to speed, if you kind of practice that enough. But for me, that's just, it interrupts the flow, it interrupts your right hand too much, and it kind of just makes it quite attenuated, really. Again, you can practice it like that, and you could probably get good at it, but I don't think it'll ever be that easy, you know what I mean? It'll never be that comfortable. But if you work on trying to attain actual independence with all your fingers, every one of them will be able to operate to the same level. Because if you keep your first finger barred all the time, that will always lag behind them. It will always be the lazy finger. It will always be kind of like it will never perform as well as the others. So that is better than. I mean, I have to kind of really think to do it like that. It's not comfortable. So you want this to be comfortable. It has to kind of be effortless and has to fly. So that's kind of like that's the next bit. It's just to develop like this coordination between the fingers, and they're all working together, but they kind of like do have to have an independence about them. So that's the I guess that's the second one. The third one, which is going to involve both hands and is more of a general point, is more just about the economy of movement that's required for this. So with my right hand, in this case, that is just that's not moving about too much. So I'm going to exaggerate the movements a little bit. So it's not going. It's not kind of going like that. It's just kind of it's just kind of sitting comfortably on the strings, and it's fairly tightly in there, but not like kind of tensely so. So it's. So it's not kind of straying too far from the string it's supposed to be hitting. And likewise, the fingers of the left hand, they're not flapping about too much, or at least I'm trying not to make them flap about too much, because it's like it's just going to interrupt it. It's just going to kind of make it. It's going to make it harder than it needs to be. It's not going to be economical. You're not going to be able to play as fast. So that's basically it. Is just to kind of keep the both hands as locked in as tight as you can. Not tense as I said before, but kind of like make the movements as small as you can. So if I kind of like, if I really just focus on that and try to do that, you can play this at, a great speed. So you can get it up to a really good speed even on a bad day. So yeah, that's a couple of pointers about the right and left hand. I thought it'd be worth talking about. So yeah, that's it. I do hope you enjoyed that lesson and you found it useful. If you did, please like the video and of course subscribe to the channel. See you very soon. Cheers.